20 people you won't believe exist. A person can stand out for different talents. However, this time we will show you talents and qualities that you never thought you would see. Join us to discover people who can only be described as unique. Sultan Kösen. Starting this top, we find someone tall. And it's not a joke since he has been recognized as the tallest man in the world who still remains alive according to the Guinness World Records. He was born in Turkey like any other child with an average size. However, at the age of 10 years old, a tumor in the pituitary gland caused an abnormal growth, which would later be known as a disease called pituitary giant, and he reached 8.28 feet in height. And if you were wondering, yes, he was offered a career in basketball, although having a delicate physique made this sport impossible. Lizzie Velasquez. Elizabeth Ann Velasquez was born 4 weeks earlier than planned in Texas, United States, where she began to develop her condition known as progeria, a disease that accelerates the aging of newborn babies. She was called by many people as the ugliest woman in the world, an offense that did not stop her in her fight against bullying, uploading several videos on YouTube, giving motivational speeches, and even writing a book, focusing on the beauty of each person and in the little importance that should be given to those who think otherwise. A great example of overcoming obstacles. Mandy Sellers. This Englishwoman was diagnosed with a rare disease that causes her legs to reach a morbid and extraordinary size which prevents her from even walking. Her legs were so large that they could weigh 210 pounds, which represents 3 times the rest of her body. In 2010, due to an infection, her left leg had to be amputated. Currently, Mandy is in treatment to shrink her legs, which is apparently working. Gary Turner. If you've ever imagined being the rubber man, British Gary Turner is the closest thing to reality because he suffers from a genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos, a syndrome which allows him to stretch his skin. Despite the fact that his condition generates pain in certain joints, his smile never goes away, and he's even acquired the title of the man with the most elastic skin on the planet, managing to stretch the skin of his stomach up to 6.3 inches. His title was granted at the beginning of 2000, and to this date, there hasn't been anyone who surpasses him. Jyoti Amj. This little Indian actress is known because she was featured in the American Horror Story Freak Show series. However, if we talk about why she is in our top, it's due to her tiny size of 2.06 feet, caused by a genetic disorder. She ended up obtaining the world record in 2011 as the smallest woman in the world, being 2.8 inches smaller than the previous one, a title she holds up until now. Kim Goodman. If we talk about people you wouldn't find anywhere and would make anyone's jaw drop, we would have to name this woman who, due to an accident with a hockey mask, now has the ability to pop her eyes out. This skill made her appear in TV shows and even made her worthy of a world record for her strange and amazing ability. Valeria Lukiavana. We have all heard about the most famous doll in the world and the biotype of a woman we have all dreamed of years ago. Well, this Ukrainian model is everything you'd expect when you think about a Barbie. She was called the human Barbie by many, due to her great resemblance to the doll. Despite looking like a completely plastic girl, she says she hasn't had any surgery on her face, and to maintain the slender and unique doll body, she has a special diet in addition to a daily routine at the gym. Aaron Raquar. If you've ever seen the X-Men, the group of mutants where their main enemy was a villain capable of attracting metals, well, this Indian man is the closest thing to this. He's known as the Magnet Man, and Raquar himself states that his body has strong special magnetic signals, mainly on his chest, allowing him to attract various metal objects like spoons. Even though he's not proud of his power, Aaron states that he feels good when people come to see what he does. Ashley Morris. In 2008, the case of an Australian girl who was allergic to water was known, and it's not a joke since the contact with water creates reactions similar to hives. Even her own sweat causes this type of allergy. The young woman says that showering is a painful experience because when she does, there are red bumps and itching that take about 2 hours to be relieved, so she can only take a short bath. This condition is called aquagenic urticaria. Rhett Lamb. When babies are born, they usually spend most of the day sleeping. However, this was not the case of little Rhett. He hasn't been able to sleep since he was born because of a disease, restless leg syndrome or RLS. If you were ever in a bad mood because of bad sleeping, imagine what the temper of this little boy should have been like. Despite everything, years later, he would undergo surgery that allowed him to complete his sleep. There are more cases, like Arturo Avilés, who hasn't been able to sleep for almost 40 years. Tom Staniford. The British cyclist Tom Staniford attracted the people's attention when he became known for his strange condition which doesn't allow him to accumulate any body fat. His strange disease is called MDP syndrome, which ironically also causes Tom's body to act as an overweight person because of his high blood fat levels. For this reason, he has developed type B diabetes. Despite all these problems, Tom does not give up and still dreams of participating in the Paralympic Games to represent his nation. Jesus Fajardo. A Mexican man surprised the whole world by his excess of hair, and this was the reason why he was nicknamed by news channels as the Werewolf. However, life was not easy for someone with these characteristics, according to Jesus himself. No one was friendly with him, and he even had to leave school because of bullying. He took refuge in drinking and working for different circuses. There are only 50 known cases in all of history. Despite this, Jesus is not ashamed anymore about his condition. He said, "I'm tired of feeling uncomfortable. I'm the same as everyone and I have the right to feel happy after leaving alcohol and forming a family." Chen Tuanxi. This young woman was born with a strange condition. She has her knees backwards, which prevents her from walking. This is why she became known as the girl with inverted legs. However, this problem did not prevent her from finishing her studies, and due to the media recognition she obtained because of her illness, many organizations were able to finance her multiple operations that had to be done in order to be able to walk, a goal she achieved after 10 surgeries when she was 26 years old. Abdul Bahandar. This man became known as the Tree Man because of the multiple bark-shaped warts that sprout on different parts of his body. This disease, known as epidermoplasia verruciforme, is extremely rare, and only 4 cases have been documented. Despite having performed multiple operations to remove the warts, these have reappeared again, evidencing how little is known of this disease. Paul Carrison. The peculiarity of this American is the blue color of his skin, a feature that has made many call him Papa Smurf. His strange condition is due to the misuse of a medication that caused him intense dermatitis in addition to a reaction that gave him the bright color that he now possesses. Cara Anaya. This woman suffers from a strange condition called persistent sexual arousal disorder, which causes her to feel sexual arousal from the slightest things. Although this may seem pleasant, the young American says the opposite, as it's even said that she has had up to 160 orgasms in a few hours. This has prevented her from performing the easiest tasks, and she doesn't enjoy a pleasant sexual life with her husband anymore. Abby and Brittany Hensel. And in this place we find 2 people, and not necessarily because it's a tie, rather because they are inseparable. It is about 2 Siamese women in a single body, a condition that is due to a malformation in the belly that makes them have 2 spinal columns, 2 sets of lungs, and 2 hearts. However, this has not stopped them from leading a normal life, as both complement each other. They have even dictated classes as primary teachers, showing a great example of overcoming any challenge that life brings. Number 3. Deepak Jangra. This young man is the closest thing to a superhero. His story begins with an accident that involves a large electric discharge. However, this was only the beginning, as he eventually increased the number of volts that his body could stand up to 1,000 volts, which were nothing more than a caress to him. It should be noted that this amount of voltage would kill anyone. Currently, Deepak uses his talent to fix electric problems for the people in his town, because with great power comes great responsibility. Daniel Saenz. Daniel is a baseball boy like any other, except that he completely sheds the skin of his face every day because he suffers from Netherton syndrome, a disease also known as butterfly skin due to its extreme delicacy. According to his parents, the child has to apply extra virgin olive oil every day and massage his skin for 15 minutes. However, this does not stop him from practicing in his favorite sport, and despite the risks he faces, he doesn't want to leave it. Samson Burns. Samson was a brave teenager who suffered from progeria, a disease that accelerates his aging. This is why some people call him the teenager in the body of an old man. This kid was a sports fan and even became an honorary captain of the New England Patriots football team. For many years, Samson was the public image of this disease. Unfortunately, the young man died at the age of 17, exceeding the average lifespan of those who suffer from this condition. His story was even turned into a documentary by HBO called Life According to Sam. If any of these people surprised you, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. See ya!